For each woman is very different because it depends what they were looking for. And for some of the women, the men were really an issue. For others, they were not. Let's say, for example, for Munes, romantic life or marriage was not a question. It was a question of her desire for social activism. But through Ali, the man that she encounters, she's able to experience the political activism. We don't know if there is a romantic relationship. It's really more like what he symbolizes for her as someone who's really close to the subject, and she idealizes the fact that he believes in something and he's close to this subject, something that she's not. So it's not even the question of man and woman, because she's like the Jeanne d'Arc, that is not really about her self-interest. Then you have this obsession of Faize with Amir Khan, who is ridiculous in a way, it's absurd. But then through the rape, and ironically, through this rape, this sexual assault, she's able to recover and look at herself again. And then when he comes back to actually ask for marriage, she understands for the first time her own absurdity and her own, flaws, and that in fact she feels for the first time comfortable by herself, and that she can reject him and carry on. But the rape becomes the turning point, ironically, for a traditional woman to have the rape be the one that actually helps her self-discover. With Farouk Lagab, is that she wants to be desirable. She desperately wants to be loved, and this guy comes and she believes him, like she really goes for it. And then we see her losing to the fact that he arrives with another woman, and at that point she's really having to look inside him, and then she also wants to be a singer and all of that. But she realized, I think her self-awakening is at the end, she realizes that what is important is not outside, is inside. And I think the death of Zarine becomes symbolically important for her awakening, that there was this human life that was at risk, and her narcissism took over, and now I think her ending is actually very optimistic because she's had a kind of a self-awareness. For me, every one of these women at the end, and finally I think for Zarine becomes the most sacred figure, more saintly, the prostitute turning saintly, and her death becomes a kind of a turning point for the other woman. To that point we almost had to exaggerate and make a cliche image of like Amir Khan. It's almost cliche Muslim man in order to make our point, or like Abbas, the Western guy, or the Sadri, the pro-Shah guy. But the other thing somebody asked about, is this a hopeful? I really hope when people see this film, it's true that these women don't all have a great ending, but one thing they have is courage, that they did something. They all had their problems that they start with, and they chose to take their lives into their own hands.